there is a Q-Link section in MPCX called Pad Scene. Just please keep in mind that we are a brand new YouTube channel and we need your support. These videos are not manifesting by themselves. There's a lot of effort to make them happen. We are not expecting anything in return except subscribe, like, and hit that bell button so you receive a future notifications of the future videos. This button is for drum program only. We are creating a new project. We are going to set a track. Let's select some drums. We are going to change the track's name for drums. And we are going to generate the program. We go to browser. For now, we just hit the drum set. We like this acoustic tight kit, which is about to spill across those 16 pads. Okay, as you see, I can't hear anything yet. I have to go to menu, go to program, and by scrolling this wheel, I'm gonna just scroll just once to generate that sound to us. Now, when I touch the pads once again, it's gonna generate that sound for me. We are about to turn those 16 knobs into the drum parameters of that sound you just heard. By clicking Pad Scene, I'm gonna launch those parameters. They are right here, spilled above the knobs. Some of them are more important to me than others. But don't worry. If you don't like a certain button and its function, you can customize it to your liking. Today's video is not about recording the music, but understand what this pad scene can do for you. Right away, what comes to mind is that some of the buttons will be more important to me than others. To demonstrate the power of Q-Link buttons, we are going to use a snare drum as an example. First, what comes to mind is the level control, volume. Less volume, more volume. Excellent. To control the panoramic sound of the stereo field, I'm gonna use the PAM knob to the left, to the right. The next button, number 3, is the tuning. I can elevate the sound of that snare drum or lower it depending what we are seeking to. The release knob right next to it is the sustain knob. The next one is decay. And of course, total random amount. In the second row, there is something called filter resonance. And of course, the depth of that resonance. So you are looking for the depth stands for this low part of the sound, what basically sinks to the floor, the resonance stands for itself. All right. The mute and solo button, it's not my thing. It's there, but I can always change it for something else. When you look at the third row of the buttons, you've got send 1, 2, 3, and 4. Right now, it's not my concern. I want to focus on other controllers. So now, to be honest with you, I like the level control, the pan, the tuning, and the release. These are the most important to me buttons, because I'm assuming that sustain and decay and the resonance and depth, like the people who create the sound for me, they kind of give me already a certain sample, what basically already works, and I don't have to worry about that. This section will allow me to set the drum set my way, the way I see it. The way I see it, I could approach the drum set from two different perspectives. One from the audience, looking at the stage, another one from behind the drum player. Which means if I'm behind and the drummer is playing, the hi-hat is gonna be right here, the snare drum is gonna be right here, the tom-toms right there, the floor tom to the right, there is a bass drum, the cymbals left and right? So I can imagine that digital spectrum, this stereo spectrum, right? I'm looking at it. Now, when I look the drummer from concert perspective, his hi-hat is over there, the snare drum right next to it, the drum set right here, the floor, thumb floor, it's right there, tom-tom cymbals, right? So it's like everything is like upside down. When I look at this part scene is gonna help me very fast to set that feel for me. Let me demonstrate. Okay, level control first. So look, every time I touch the pad, it makes the sound. Now, when I touch the volume, I can adjust the volume, and this is the good thing. One button will adjust the volume for every single pad for me. Okay, now snare drum. Less. More. I'm trying to create a balance. More. Too much. You see what I mean? So I already adjusted the volume of 3 pads. Makes sense. Okay. Do I want more sticks? Or less sticks? I don't want the sticks to be louder than the snare drum. So you see, based on just one knob, I already adjusted 5 pads. Okay. I like lots of hi-hat. Not that much. Makes sense. Okay, so I'm kind of looking for some kind of balance in this drum set. What makes sense to me. I need more cymbal. Nice. Nice. The splash, it's a statement, right? So they want to be cohesive. Okay. It already feels to me like I'm playing the real instrument. I've got the sticks, and even though I'm not a drummer player, I can picture myself just punching these drum sets, right? Okay, so now volume-wise, everything makes sense. Now, the fun part becomes now. I use the pan button right here to basically manipulate where that instrument goes. For example, the bass drum, it's gonna be right on the middle. Right on the middle. It's the same bass drum, right? Excellent. So now the volume control is established. I'm controlling pan. With this one knob, I'm gonna adjust all the sounds. Snare drum, it's gonna be slightly shift. If I stand behind the drum set, let's just pretend that I'm playing the drum set. So I'm gonna move the snare drum from the center, which is pan right on the middle, to slightly to my left. That's it. The same towards that, because it's the same instrument. Excellent. The same thing. Excellent. Now, the sticks across this hi-hat. So I'm gonna push just hi-hat just a little bit more to the left. So we've got the snare drum right here, hi-hat. Excuse me, it's gonna be right there. Okay. Hi-hat. So you see, I'm practicing my ears. Nice. These sticks are going to be closer to the hi-hat, to the snare drum. Excellent. So this is the floor tom. So I'm going to shift the floor tom to my right. The these two toms are going to be right and left. So this one is gonna be closer to my left. This one closer to my right. And of course, the adjustment is gonna be minimum. Like you don't wanna shift everything to your left ear, everything to the right. You have to create some kind of spectrum what keeps this stereo field active. But now when you hear, this is not perfect, but when you hear, I'm going from left to right. Okay. So now, I'm gonna have it here. Right here. Let's just do this. One here, one there. You got the idea. So now this is set up. And look, we achieved that result based on 2 link buttons only. The coolest thing ever. So I never kind of leave that area until I'm satisfied with the levels. I never leave the pan until I'm satisfied with the spread. Now when it comes to tuning button, you see, I can change the sound of each. Like for example, we already did the snare drum. Now, the hi-hat, I can, by fooling around with the tuning, I can kind of project the size of it. I can make it smaller. Right, weaker, less depth. I can make it bigger. Okay, of course, this could be extreme situation, so be careful what you're adjusting to. Look, it's quite a big splash, but I can make it smaller. So the drummers, they like to purchase, you know, several different cymbals. One of them is tiny little one. If you don't have it, you can produce one. You see? So basically I changed that sound, the bigger one, into something smaller. Okay, so this is just the example. Look, so we achieved that result based on level, pan, and tuning. Of course, the release is gonna allow you to, you see, there's just like it's nothing left behind. So the release is gonna kind of expand that echo. That's it. So look, if I'm looking, this is perfectly acoustically treated room. This could be awesome. Bigger room, boom, okay, and so on, so on. Other buttons are just extra, at least in my, the way I pursue the music. When you describe Q-Link section, you've got 5 different sections. One of them is part scene, right, what includes those 16 buttons. But these buttons can turn into dual function. We already established that some of the buttons are more important to us than others. We can change the function of others to something else. And you achieve that result when you hit the shift and then you hit pad scene once again. You go to the SAP window on a screen, and now very easily you can dive into these adjustments. So what you have on the screen stands for what you have in a physical MPC. Okay, they stand for. Excellent. So we are going to concentrate on one specific example, and then as a homework, you're going to just fool around with rest of them, similar way. Let's concentrate on the second row, the very first button. Q-Link 9. Why is it 9? Because we are counting from here. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. Okay, so now I'm gonna go and go to program. There's two different layers. One is the mixer, one is the program. To load that specific button, I have to just touch it. It's a touch sensitive thing. Boom. Now, amp and hold means nothing to me, and it does nothing to my acoustic sound of my acoustic drum set. See, there is no, even though I increase the amount of it, it just doesn't do much. So now I would love to change it. We've got mixer and we've got program. We go to program, double tap, and then we're going to select something what we basically like more than we had. And there's a variety of different effects what you can apply. Let's just apply drums FX number 5. I have no idea how it's gonna sound, but we are going to test it. That's the snare drum, and I'm gonna increase. Turns out it adds this dirt to the snare drum, to those strings underneath. See, they just resonate just a little bit more in a way that creates that dysfunction, but it could be good dysfunction if you know how to control it. Excellent. So we just selected something what makes sense to us. So now we've got level, we've got pan, we've got tuning, we've got release, and now we've got a new button we really like. Let's just pretend that that's the truth. Beautiful. So that way you can customize the whole aspect of use of those Q-Link buttons. Now there is something underneath called momentary. What it does, it turns off and on the amount of that effect or something else you set earlier. So let's just pretend that we like the amount of this, and I want to keep it. So I basically tap that squirrel. Okay, so now look what happened. If I make adjustments by accident, and then I release that button, it's gonna jump back to where I saved it. You see? Now, if I don't have it, it stays. It stays. It stays. So it's a good way to kind of log your previous work. Like, okay, I like it, boom, I'm gonna log it. So it just in case if something wrong happened, it's gonna jump to that setting, right? And this thing, it's available to every single button and every single function you can see on the screen. Now, the third row, which is the second from the bottom, it's called send 1, 2, 3, 4. Send 1, we could send that button, that channel to some kind of mixer. Send 1, send 2, send 3. So we've got 4 different sends, what we can send to the mixer or audio interface. Okay? We are not obligated to use. If I touch it, I can touch it here on the screen. It says send 1. Double click. But also I've got pad solo, pad mute, panoramic level. If I hit the level, this button becomes the level. So look, now I can control the level. Look at the screen. I have had a button called level. Now I created a new button called level. They will be synchronized. So adjustment is gonna take place into both at the same time. That's how I see if I've been already using that level function or not on my Q-Link buttons. Okay, so we're going to switch for something else like pan, but pan does exist. And look, now we're going to unleash the pan. It goes with the pan, okay? So the mixer section is limited to the level, pan, mute, solo, and 4 different sends. There's nothing else. And we can, once again, we can do the same thing towards mixer, sub window, and program window. Okay, to get out of it, you just hit main, you go to your project, you record, right? Shift, pad scene, you go to your, right, desirable effect, you change it, you adjust, you save it, etc. We want to create music as fast as possible. The last thing I want to do is to dwell about things non-related to the real creation. I can always edit notes later on and add certain effects to the sound I pursue. The idea is to work fast and be efficient with your work. So commit to certain buttons, get to know them very well. And once you have that base, right, of your routine or daily practice under control, now we can invite more buttons to the table. So I don't want you to dwell about filters and the depth of the sound too much, because the main idea is the most important one. If it works without it, it's gonna work with it as well. No problem. So just think about the content first. Spill all of it at once. Listen it, make the adjustments, then dive into editing mode. And editing mode could include those different filters, those different extra buttons, what basically influence the sound. But at the beginning of your work, it's not important. I love this pad scene from the purpose of balancing my drum set. Excellent. Spread the instruments into this stereo wild, right, spectrum. Excellent. Tuning, like sometimes, you know, I'm a certain key, the music goes into D major, right? And basically, I'm gonna tune my drum set towards that music. So instead of searching for another drum set and spending hours on that challenge, I'm going to kind of tune my instrument into that project. So this is phenomenal. And of course, the release gives this how natural, how long the sound will exist. Right? So this is a pretty straight foundation, which basically we can develop later on. If you're curious about MPCX or about music composition, arrangements, chords in music, please subscribe to this channel, because you're going to get more videos like this and you're going to benefit tremendously from them. Once again, We are not asking anything in return for this work, except subscribe, like, and hit that bell button. My name is Piotr Kowalczyk. See you next time. Royal Composer provides students around the world with detailed musical knowledge. Let's take the challenge out of building chords. I will show you the way. Our signature course, Chord World, teaches you how to build chords in music. We are talking about triad 7 chords and tensions with all the inversions, 21st century stuff. With a little bit of effort, topics such as 7 chords or tensions could become your favorite topics. The Chord World provides everything you need to know about the chords in music from A to Z. No matter what style of music you create, our powerful, detailed video presentations will help your music production. If you are serious about the music creation, check out Chord World. We are here to support you and your music.